What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Call of Duty Zombies Revisited, where I give my thoughts and opinions on every single map. Today we have Shangri-La. Now, personally to me, Shangri-La was always a unique kind of map. It was never one of the maps where I ever really thought about wanting to play it, but it always seemed kind of special to me in the sense of just kind of the aesthetics of it. I like to think of it as the Indiana Jones map. It takes place in Shangri-La, or some kind of like temple jungly area, and it takes place in the daytime. Not a lot of maps take place then. I mean, technically Kino does, but you know, you're in the building for most of it. But this place is all outside, and it's a very beautiful looking map. It has nice colors, especially in Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 graphics are just really good, but even in Black Ops 1 it looks really nice. And I've only played this map on Black Ops 3. I never had any of the DLC for Black Ops 1, or really Black Ops 2. I only had Die Rise of Mob of the Dead. But anyway, so I'm coming from Black Ops 3 where, you know, a lot of the guns are more overpowered, especially with double pap and stuff like that. And Black Ops 1 was always, the guns are just super weak and not a lot of ammo. And so I thought I was going to struggle on this map. And at first I was a little bit until I got Jug. Really after that I was fine. The thing I really had to change for this map is that you can't really train on this map. There's so many, it's just really close quarters. And zombies come from a lot of places. Like in the caves, they come from the ceiling, or there's just a lot of windows, and they're just really narrow passageways. So it's really hard to train. And so really, I would just kind of group up like a small group of zombies and try to kill them while I run through the map. That's basically how I play it. But overall, I did have a good time with it. And I actually did better than I expected to. You have the monkeys. The monkeys return from Ascension. And these monkeys are a lot better than what Ascension did. The Ascension, they were annoying and weren't really that rewarding, or it was very hard to be rewarded from them because it was very hard to get the free perk. But at least with this, they take your drops, and what's nice is you can hear them scream. Plus, if you know a drop has spawned in, you know the monkeys are coming for them anyway. But at least they scream to let you know that they are coming. And they cycle through the drop, and so you can basically always be guaranteed a max ammo if you're good enough. And I believe if the spawn is a max ammo, they can change it into a free perk. I was never able to get that to happen for me, but it's still nice that that is there. And it is a challenge because you kind of have to be skilled in, one, maneuvering around the zombies to be open to kill the monkey, and then timing it right to get the free perk. And so it's really good. And the monkeys, while being a nuisance, they actually add more depth to the map, which I really like. And then you also have two new zombie types. You have the napalm zombie and the shrieker zombie. Now, I believe the napalm zombie, without Jug, its explosion kills you. And the whole thing is that if they get close to you, you get like fire on your screen, and then he just explodes. He kamikazes. And I believe it would kill you without Jug. But I always had Jug when he would spawn in by that time, so I never really had a problem with him. Sometimes I would just forget he was there and then he would damage me, but it was usually fine. And I know when you kill him, he drops like fire on the floor, which isn't really a huge deal. I believe he will also kill zombies that are in close proximity to him, which is nice, but might also hurt your points, I believe. Then you have the Shrieker zombie, who runs really fast. He runs fast at you, and then I think he screams and he messes with your screen a little bit. But he's really weak, so he's not that big of a problem. And so really, you're just playing normal zombies, except you're in a very crowded area. It really reminds me of Verrucht, and kind of a new level of Verrucht in the sense of you have close quarters, you have the Shrieker zombie that runs really fast, and that it's really difficult to train in. I also do like the new fast travel methods that you have on this map. Like I was saying before, it reminds me of Indiana Jones, where you got mine carts, geysers, and water slides, which take you to decent places on the map. I don't quite remember it off the top of my head, but I know one takes you to the waterfall. I believe one takes you close to spawn. But just really the style of fast travel is really cool, where you can kind of see the background of the map, kind of the inside locations that you can't really run around. Or I think actually I think the mine part, you might be able to see actual parts of the map. So if you're playing multiplayer, you might actually see your teammates running around, I think, which is pretty cool. But it's just a cool aesthetic that really ties in with the map's design really nicely. I believe every perk is grouped into two different ones where you like Jug and Speed Cola, and I believe Deadshot and Double Tap. They're grouped together where every game they swap places with each other, or they have the chance to. So you kind of have like a pseudo random perk spawn where you know one of the two locations that every perk will be in, but you'll never know until you get to that area if you were correct in it. And then also the power, I don't fully understand it. There's two switches for them, which I thought was a little weird. It really doesn't change anything because they're right next to each other, but it's there. It doesn't really change anything. Maybe it's just like another map aesthetic. Maybe what's happening is I haven't checked it. I think it's the like spinning wheel with the water. Maybe there's two of them and they're not turning on or spinning. So you have to turn on power to rotate the one wheel, and then the other switch rotates the other. It's really not that big of a deal. I just thought it was interesting. But also the thing that kind of makes it feel like some adventure treasure hunt type map is that you have the two traps. So if you're looking at quick revive, you have the left side and the right side. Actually, they both do it, so never mind. But they both have like those spike traps where if you try to run through them, you have the spikes that come up and impale you. I believe they do damage, but the thing is, if you have stamina up, I think you can just run past it without jumping, and there won't be any problem. But it does trap zombies in there, which can be nice because, once again, you can't really train on this map, so a lot of the time you're just being overrun, and so you always have to escape from the crowded areas that you're in. And so if you're running away and then the spike trap activates, it can actually hold some of them back, which lets you turn around and kill a decent group of them, which is really nice. But then you also have on the right side the I don't even know what you call it, that mud area where you have the platforms, and as you step on the platforms the walls come down on you, and so you're forced into a set location of either to the bridge or on top of the waterfall, I believe. And it's really annoying, especially middle round when zombies are running after you, because one, the mud slows you down a lot. Like, you're basically dead if you get overrun there because you're not going to be able to outrun them. But also it forces you into a location that you don't know where you'll be, and so of course you can just rerun it again until you eventually get to where you want to be. But it does give that kind of sense of this map is out to get you, and that not everything that you planned is going your way, which I think is really cool. One thing I forgot to mention, the Pack-a-Punch. Now, I think Pack-a-Punch is in a really cool location. It's right in spawn. It's right on top of the shrine. You can basically see it since the beginning of the map. And it's really simple to turn on power, where you just have to see which statue is rotating and just step on that tile. And once it's set, the stairs kind of emerge from the top of the shrine. Then you can just run up and Pack-a-Punch. And then you can basically see the two little wheels on the side that roll. And that's basically how much time you have until water pushes you down. And I just think it's a really cool aesthetic that also fits the map. And I also want to go back on what I said, I think on Ascension it was, about Pack-a-Punching, where I was just like, it's kind of getting stale. I was completely wrong in that sense, because the more I think about it, the fact that it was basically always a do three things is really not that big of a deal, because at least they're different. As long as it's different, it's okay. Just don't make me always do the same thing where it's like connect 3 teleporters. If it was always connect 3 teleporters, then it really is stale. But as long as you have to do something else where it's like ride 3 moonlanders, or, you know, do 3 things like Gorod Crovy, where it's like ride 3 dragon lift. If it's just do 3 things, it's really not that bad, and as long as they switch it up, it's fine. Now, the problem with Shangri-La comes in co-op when you're playing with randoms. If you're playing with 3 other friends, it's not that big of a deal, because you'll be communicating with them, and so you'll know when you guys want to Pack-a-Punch. But the problem with the randoms is that you're not going to get Pack-a-Punch unless they're all skilled and you can kind of communicate by knifing it so they know. In solo, it's not bad at all. It's literally step on 1 tile and you're good to go. And then you have some other things like the spiked claymore, I believe it's called, or spikemore, something like that. And I was one never to really use the tacticals like that. I know they are really helpful because you can just stack a bunch in the corner, and then if you need to safety, you can run into them. Maybe that's something more that I should try doing. I know it was really good at killing the Pentagon Thief in 5, and that could make the map a little easier. Especially maybe if you're like camping by the elevator on Pentagon Thief rounds, you can just quickly run there. Anyway, The spike mores are really cool. They basically just shoot out a bunch of needles out, and they seem to do some good work too. So it's a cool addition to the map that also does fit the aesthetic of it. And then you also have the wonder weapon, which it has a crazy name, the JGB 2 something, the baby gun, as everybody knows it as. And I really do like this weapon, and it does fit the map. Kind of going back to like Call of the Dead with the VR11, it looks kind of like Alien-esque to me, where you have like the like bars on the side that like move up and down like a wave, and when you aim down sight, turns out it's on the other side too. You have this like green little thing on top. I don't know what it is, but basically the whole thing is it turns the zombies into little miniature size of them, babies basically, and you have to run into them and kick them away. One, this is really funny, but two, it's basically an insta kill. However, it has its downsides where if you have a little horde built up, you have to run back into your horde, and if you didn't shoot all the zombies, then there's going to be some that are smacking you. Even the baby zombies, I think, do hurt you. I don't exactly know how the health works on that, but it does balance out the weapon where I believe it has infinite damage, but the cost is that, say like you're red screened, you can't rely on that to get you out of the situation. But there were times where I was training on like the bridge and I could see where I was about to get overwhelmed, but since I recognized that, I was able to just quickly adapt and say, okay, I need an escape route, which might be to the bridge or to the tunnel, but let me just shoot the baby gun the direction I want to go into, and then I'll just run in them and kick them. It is funny because they just go flying, but it is definitely a balance to the weapon. Before I end it, the really main thing here is PhD is going to be your lifesaver. If you have the Mustang and Sally and PhD, it's going to be very hard to go down, especially because you're basically never going to get trapped again. Just spam the Mustang and Sally and the zombies are on. So PhD is like really strong, and I can see why they got rid of it in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, because it's really good, and it does trivialize every map that it's in, and it kind of makes you only want to play it in one way, where every map has its wonder weapon and you kind of want to play it with the wonder weapon, especially in solos, because you're guaranteed it, because you'll be the only one hitting the box, so you'll eventually get it. But basically every wonder weapon has its own kind of style of play, and so every map you kind of have to play it in a certain way. However, with PhD, Mustang and Sally are basically another wonder weapon just for how strong they are, at least until like round 30. I'm pretty sure if you're going for round 100, they're probably not that good, but majority of people aren't going to go for that. I'm one of them. I really only like going to like 30, 35, maybe 40, but that's about it for me, because it kind of gets boring at that point. So really at that point, the Mustang and Sally are just your go-to weapon. And so I can see why PhD was taken out in the later games, but it is still very fun and nice to have. And I see why people liked it so much. But yeah, that's all I really had to say about the map. Great colors, great aesthetic. It's really fun. I might have forgotten some things, but I'll remember them later. I did enjoy it, and it is still kind of difficult because you can't train. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one where we play Moon, the final map of Black Ops 1. See ya.